And, yesterday I wasn't in normally. I came on a couple of times to talk about being in Washington, D.C., but I am back normally now, and that's why I'm going to give you Santa Clay is coming to town. I'm going to give you my gambling gifts for college football. Now, usually those of you out there know this. Usually I give these in the final segment of the Thursday show during football season, my college football gambling picks. But for all of you today, I have got the picks this week, and I think we got a lot of winners. I'm not going to lie. I think we got some good, solid winners here coming up in the college football weekend. And again, want to welcome the Big Ten back, and I want to welcome the Big Ten back by suggesting that at least in the Big Ten, we are going to see a couple of interesting results. And in particular, I believe that Nebraska is going to cover against Ohio State. Now, let me talk about this game a little bit and tell you why. First of all, this is year 3 now, I believe, for Scott Frost at Nebraska. The last 4 years, Nebraska has lost by margins of 41, 5, 42, and 59. That is a lot of rough results. 41, 5, 42, and 59 the last couple of years, okay? Things get better this year. I think that Nebraska loses by only 3 touchdowns, which sounds like a lot of points, because most of the time you don't be like, hey, my team only lost by 3 touchdowns, but you will cover the 26 if that happens. And so I am on the Cornhuskers, and the people from the great state of Nebraska. Big Red covers against Ohio State. Also in the Big Ten, Indiana, the star-crossed Hoosiers football team, they are 6.5-point underdogs at home against Penn State. Next week on Halloween, Penn State is hosting Ohio State. Indiana is maybe the team out there of all of them in the Big Ten that flirts with winning a big game every year in the Big Ten East. Oh, they're going to beat Michigan. Oh, they're going to beat Penn State. Oh, they're going to beat Ohio State. And then inevitably, sorry, Indiana Hoosier fans, you know I'm right. In the fourth quarter late, you guys fade, you disappear, you end up losing. But I think they are going to cover. I really do. I think Indiana is going to cover the plus 6.5. So there are 2 Big Ten games to celebrate the return of the Big Ten. All right, I got 8 more good picks for you out there. Get your pen and paper. Get your pencils. You can also go read these at Outkick.com. And if you don't have your pens and papers, inevitably, whenever I give out the picks, people send me DMs, they send me messages, and they say, hey, can you just send me all your picks? They're up at Outkick. You can't miss them. If you go to Outkick, you will find them there. All right, Auburn at Ole Miss. I think the wrong team is favored here. Ole Miss, you are getting points as the underdog. Plus 3 right now for Ole Miss. I think the Lane train is going to be back rolling in Oxford, and I believe Ole Miss is going to win this game outright. I don't just think Ole Miss covers, but you can still take the plus 3. I think the Rebels win outright against Auburn, who I don't believe in. Do you buy into the Gus Bus or the Lane train? I am firmly, squarely on the Lane train here in Oxford. Kentucky at Mizzou. I think Mizzou wins this game, and I think they cover. I gave it out at plus 6. It's now around plus 4. I think it's a no-brainer here that Mizzou, 2 weeks to get ready. I love their new quarterback, Connor Bazelak. I think that he is a difference maker. He went 29 for 34, 406 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. He's a freshman against LSU 2 weeks ago. Kentucky whipped Tennessee. I don't think Kentucky is very good. They have got 9 interceptions in their last 2 weeks. I think the turnovers return to normalcy, and I think Mizzou covers. And I actually think they win outright, but you get Mizzou plus 4 to 6, depending on where you're betting right now. South Carolina, another underdog in the SEC. I don't think LSU should be favored by nearly a touchdown on anyone. South Carolina pulled off the upset last week for us over Auburn. I think they keep this very close, might even win against LSU this weekend. I got South Carolina plus the 6.5. NC State. NC State right now is 4-1. They have won 3 straight in the ACC. UNC is coming off of a disastrous performance on the road against Florida State. I think NC State plus 16 in this big state showdown And I believe NC State plus 16 covers against North Carolina. Notre Dame at Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh plus 10.5 is the play here. You know, Pitt has played, this is their 7th game this college football season, their 7th game. I think they're ready for a challenge. They've lost 3 in a row. 2 of those losses have been by 1 point, 1 in overtime. They played Miami even last week. I didn't like what I saw from Notre Dame going up against Louisville last week. I think they are going to cover. 10.5 here is the number, plus 10.5 for Pitt. I like them against Notre Dame. And the game that, a couple more fast ones. Clemson is going to blow out Syracuse. Clemson is going to absolutely dominate Syracuse. The number is 45. I think this is going to be an ugly game for Syracuse. I also like TCU plus the points, plus nearly a touchdown against Oklahoma. And the game that I am going to, I like Alabama by about 3 touchdowns at Tennessee. I don't believe in Jarek Garantano. I don't believe in this Tennessee defense in the secondary. I am going to be there at Calhoun's on the river from 1 to 3 in the pregame on Saturday. You can swing by and say hi to us there in the parking lot on the Tennessee River. Alabama going to cover and win their 14th game in a row. Nobody's stopping Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. Certainly not this Tennessee defense.